So hi everyone, welcome to the Admin Hug event, and today we're going to talk about custom cards. It's an extension to the last event that Dennis Edson ran, where he took you deeper into how custom cards are built, and this time we are going to go deeper into what's the problems you can solve with custom cards. And I'm Sejal Parikh. I work as a PM inside HubSpot, and I'm highly focused in making HubSpot more extensible, and I talk to developers working with customers and solution partners almost every other day as a part of my work, but I don't talk enough to HubSpot admins or business users. So yes, I'm very excited to talk about custom cards today, and they're also known as UI extensions, by the way, if you have heard that somewhere else. So let's dive in. Today we are going to touch upon what custom cards are, what did they help you solve in terms of business problems. We'll jump into lots and lots of examples built by our community developers and some sample visuals that Amy is going to walk us through. We are continuously looking to expand surface locations where inside HubSpot where you can plug this in. So we'll cover that a little bit, and also we'll touch upon briefly as a recap on how these cards are built behind the scene and how you can find developers to build those cards. And then we'll open up for discussions. All right, so let's dive in. So there are a number of different cards that exist in HubSpot now. And so before we go further, let's just clarify a little bit what cards are we talking about today. It all starts with record pages. We have a newly unified record page editor that you can see on the screen right now. And that allows you to makes it super easy to visualize your data if the data is inside your HubSpot account. You can add cards to show association data, properties, highlight some data, reports filtered with record page, and much more. And this is extremely powerful because it gets you 80% of your way in terms of your customization needs, covering most common customization needs when your data is available inside HubSpot. But there are always those 20% of use cases where you're trying to solve for custom processes, integrations, or some special needs that is not covered by these tools. And sometimes it's unique business process, like I said, that align with your industry or your geography. In other times, there are third-party integrations or for tools like project management, bookings, product usage, or even internal homegrown tools that you have inside your company that no one else has access to. Or at times, highly customized quote-to-cash flows or business processes you have in your company. And there are so many aspects to running and growing business that are unique, and each company requires something else. So that's where we now have extension cards that are also known as UI extensions or custom cards, and that get you rest of the 20% of way in terms of the needs that you have for customization. So to sum it all up, you can use out-of-the-box card template to solve most common and most recurring problems in your CRM customization. And you can build private applications to extend HubSpot to solve the problems that HubSpot is not solving out of the box. Most of these are long-tail use cases that you have in your companies. So you can do that through custom development. That is custom cards that we are going to talk about today. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but Sejal, we already have CRM cards to do just that. I want to know how many of you are actually aware of CRM cards that I'm talking about. What am I talking about? I'm going to go back to chat to see.
Yeah, we actually do have a question in the chat. What are these cards? Where are they located? So I think it's good you're diving into this.
Yes. So today we also offer something called Classic CRM card. And you can create these cards with CRM extensions API, and you have to create a public app to do that. They are very static, as in you can send some data in JSON format, and HubSpot will decide how they look, and at best you can have a few actions or a button that would open up an iframe model. And what most developers end up doing is they would create a web application on the side, and then they would iframe it inside HubSpot. And that itself has a very limited capability because of security and other limitations we have. So that's where last inbound, we launched a new set of tools that are called CRM development tools that allow you to build UI extensions. UI extensions are much more powerful. They're built with React. React is a mainstream JavaScript framework to build web applications. And because of that, it becomes more powerful. It makes it easy to build dynamic and interactive capabilities inside your HubSpot account. They are the first custom cards. When I say they're the first of many types of UI extensions we might be adding later on, but custom cards are first. That's why the umbrella term UI extension is being used. And that helps you extend HubSpot's UI beyond what it offers out of the box. And I'm going to talk about that next. So this is one example of a custom card that exists in our GitHub repository. We offer a GitHub repository of code samples, and this is an example. They show how you can build a micro application that look, feel, and behave just like HubSpot. This is not out of the box in HubSpot. This is custom built by a developer. It shows a workflow to order a meal from a contact page, which starts from searching for a restaurant from a list of restaurants, viewing the menu on the side panel, picking up options for items, and finally performing a mock checkout. And all of these is custom built as one single UI extension inside HubSpot. And that is what I'm talking about when I'm saying UI extensions or custom card today. This is what I mean. Not the classic CM card, or not the cards that are built out of the box by available out of the box on record page editor tooling. So since the time we launched last Inbound, our data shows that sales and Service Hub enterprise customers who have built these extensions see 25% growth in deals created and 48% of growth in deals closed won, and they're also closing more tickets. And this is happening primarily because the users are able to stay inside HubSpot more and more to get a single view of all of the data that exists outside HubSpot, right when they need it and where they need it. And they can even take actions without actually getting out of HubSpot pages. So they're using HubSpot more efficiently, and that's why they're getting more growth out of HubSpot usage. So let's get weird. We have some of the examples over the top of like what we offer on GitHub repositories. Today, I'm going to show some of the examples built by our community developers with their consent. So let's start with that. Starting with our own internal teams, we use HubSpot inside HubSpot, and the product team that's in charge of helping HubSpotters grow better, they built out this recent conversations analysis extension. This allows the history of all of the recent conversations with a contact and much more. You can see that there's a panel opening on the side that shows a history and a timeline and more. Lou Talon, who works with one of our solutions partners, NobisLink, built this extension for a client, Urban Young, that allows their reps to easily quote new policies or bind policies and service policies easily, all within HubSpot. It's a fintech company that is able to customize their business process, right, all inside HubSpot. He actually sent me 3-minute recording, which is trimmed down and cut into 20 seconds, but I can share more in the later on if anybody's interested more. So Lou actually truly believes that CRM development feature will revolutionize how companies incorporate processes and operations, just like this company, and operate most of the business from inside HubSpot because for their work. This is another
fun fact. Lou is here. He just waved in the chat. So hello, well done.
Hi, I can see you, Lou, but hey, Lou, thank you for sharing this. Anze is another developer who works with Scorpius Digital. They are another solutions partners with HubSpot, and they wanted to let their client, who is a home builder, configure their flow plans, which they display on the CMS site. The issue was getting the right data schema, creating the correct client-side validation, and ensuring the data format is consistent across the backend and frontend. And they solved this problem by building a flow plan config builder extension that you can see right now. This project, like Anze was showing, and as Anze was talking to me, he was able to show that this is extension that is able to get all of the users inside HubSpot and keep them inside HubSpot, but at the same time, work through their flow plan without having to go into the multiple systems.
Anze is also here. We've got an all-star audience today.
Yes, I have many examples to show, and all of them have given me consent, and I'm happy that they are also joining this session. This is another one for configuring line item for a deal. You're seeing some of the custom business processes or integrations needs. Sometimes you will feel that HubSpot is not solving for your business needs, and you would try to solve it by building a custom feature of your own. And that's what Federico did. He works with Impersoft Engage. There are also another partners with HubSpot, and their custom card enables sales reps to configure line items for a deal more easily by providing a very easy and straightforward interface that allows them to focus on entering only the data that matters the most for their business. And the custom card handles all data validation, conditional field logics, and something that was not possible by the default editor. Federico also believes that new UI extensions that are built with React, they are easy to develop, test, and debug. And you can see his code. There is a history to his codes. We initially launched these UI extensions with a different technology stack, and then we moved to React. So he's comparing the earlier strategy with the new one and seeing the returns of it. Prasad works as an in-house developer with ERC Document. ERC Documents is a very active HubSpot customers. They build extensions to present the data in a more user-friendly format. Actually, I have to click the next one to show. Yes, I had an animation built. This is so that the sales reps can view the products bought from the customers every month on yearly basis, and they know which products these customers are buying or not buying, and then approach the customers with cross-sale or upsell opportunities. All right. This last one, not the last one, I think I have one more. This one is for Manuel Inama. He works as an in-house developer again with Funnel. Funnel is a SaaS company, and they build this custom CPQ process. I think I need to play the video. Yeah. All inside an extension that also integrates with Judo. This recording that Manuel sent, that shows that various levels of interactive feedback built into the workflow that finally results in creating a code in Judo and also getting that code back and seeing as an iframe model inside HubSpot. So this is a very complex process. This was again one recording that was sent to me, which was very long, and I trimmed it down to 20 seconds. But what happens behind the scene in this one is highly complex process that Funnel is able to get automated inside HubSpot for their CPQ process. Okay, the next one is, you need a game in HubSpot. Byron felt that there are not enough games in HubSpot, so he built Hurdle. Why not? This you can see they have built different types of visual indicators to show how you would play the classic Wordle game inside HubSpot, which is also fun. So if some of you are looking to build games, you could do that too and stretch HubSpot to its limits. But if you're not a developer and you have some basic design chops, you can also put your imaginations to work with an extensibility-focused Figma design kit. It's coming up very soon in private beta. If you go in the product updates, it's already showing as an in-development feature. The internal teams are already utilizing those to express the ideas and imaginations to which library of components that Figma library also bakes in. Amy will next talk about how you can solve very specific problems for certain verticals using the design samples that she has built. So Amy, take it over.
Perfect. Go ahead and jump over to the next slide if you don't mind, Sejal, and then I will just kind of guide from there. So my name is Amy Chamness. I recognize a ton of names in here. I was lucky enough to join a couple of these hugs last year. But I am a principal product marketing manager here at HubSpot. I support Sejal's team and these tools. And I wanted to talk, as Sejal just noted, about some of the other sort of industry specific or use case specific examples where we could see custom cards coming in handy. So go ahead, jump to the next slide. There's a ton of different use cases, kind of infinite, to be honest with you all, that these custom cards or UIE in general can solve for. These are just a couple. This is a quick sort of admin note that what we're walking through is a sample of ideas that came to mind when thinking about different industries that have gaps in terms of their needs and use cases and how they're solved in HubSpot. But definitely let your imagination run free. If you've never used Figma before, it's really powerful in terms of sort of mapping an idea onto paper. So with that, we'll go to the next slide. Okay, so we categorize these by different industries and then the use case within the industry. So this is a mock for the manufacturing industry or vertical, and it specifically allows users of the record to check production status. You'll notice here that there's a full mock, including the left and right sidebars of the record and custom objects you might use, but the real center of attention is the custom card that is shown right in the middle. You can see it's tracking certain things like the material and labor cost and percentage sort of used of those different elements in the order. And then we also have production details with a stage tracker beneath it. And then you'll also notice at the top, we have sort of a warning or alert notice. And all of these different components could be moved around, could be changed depending on the actual need. Jump to the next slide. That's an e-commerce example. I think this is fairly common, especially you could imagine this on a deal record where you're kind of looking at the review of a product. So this shows a different component, right? We are seeing an image at the top, and then you're seeing a property list showing details about that item. This could, depending on how you imagine it, right? It could be specifications of this specific order that was set or placed, or it could be specifications about the order before it's placed, depending on when in the process you are looking. Jump to the next slide. Another manufacturing example. So you'll see a couple of these type examples in here where they're really form-based. And these form-based cards are really helpful for tracking different processes that might be, custom to the workflow of the industry or business at hand. So this is initiating a return. You can see here there's a couple of different sort of components at play. So we actually have the form inputs where you're sort of inserting different reasons for the return. There's different guardrails to data entry here, including what properties are mandatory and what aren't. And then you have additional information or supplementary information below with the associated products that might help, again, as a guardrail to the person entering this return. All right, next. Switching industries. So this is looking at the professional services vertical. And this is a really common example we see come up, which is just logging time. And there's a couple of different ways you can think about it. In this particular example, the custom card is not only allowing the individual rep to log time. You'll notice this is on a custom object called a project, but you could put this really on any object. In this case, it's not only allowing them to enter their time, but it's also showing them sort of an overview or summary of how much time is left allotted for that given project, how much time they've already billed, and it gives them a couple of different options in terms of those buttons. They can log time, they can see past entries, so forth. Another professional services example, this is a project snapshot. So you could imagine this living on the same project custom object that the log time card was on. And this is really just showing a snapshot of different milestones or elements about this project that would be important at first glance when reviewing the engagement. So you can see there's a stage tracker. There's also some text and different tags that are going to, again, visually represent what's important about this project at a glance. And then we also have some different statistics that might be helpful, especially around that time tracking and remaining hours, especially, if you're tracking utilization across employee hours and things of that nature. Okay, new vertical again. So now we're looking at the education vertical. There's a couple of different things here I think that we'll see across the education vertical. This one has to do with course enrollment. So typically when we talk to folks in this vertical, there's different teams at play. So you might have the recruiting team, the administrative team, and they handle different processes. In this particular case, when looking at course enrollment, we're looking at an individual student. So we're on the contact record and we're tracking what courses has she enrolled for, how many credits has she completed, how many credits does she need to complete in order to graduate. And then you'll notice there's sort of a status check across that table for each of the courses. Okay, another education one, so this is on the recruiting side. So this is still looking at a contact record, but you're assuming you're earlier in the life cycle stage. This contact is not yet sort of a formally admitted student. And now we're looking at more of a snapshot, similar to what we saw in the professional services industry example, where you're looking at both property lists, table information that you can scroll through and engage with, as well as the stage tracker along the top.
I think it's the last one.
This last one, great. So financial services, and I'll just take an aside here to note, you'll notice a lot of these themes are recurring, right? So once you sort of get into the mindset of understanding how you want to display and architect your data within a card, you'll notice that it becomes really easy because of the way that these tools are built to map that onto different components, whether that's a stage tracker, a table, property list, buttons, things of that nature. Really, all of these use cases are accomplished using a similar set of building blocks, which makes the whole process a lot easier. And I noted this in the chat a little bit earlier, but another element that makes this entire process fairly easy is it all looks and feels like HubSpot. So when you're mocking these up or envisioning them, thinking within the guardrails of how HubSpot works and how you manipulate, engage with, and display data in HubSpot, contact records, CRM records in general is really helpful. So with that, the last example here is an account summary on the financial services side, where you're, again, looking at a stage tracker, a property list, some buttons, and some statistics, but put all of those things together and you get a pretty easy, at a glance, look at a given contact's, in this case, account.
Thanks, Amy. This is amazingly wonderful mocks. Thank you for walking us through. Amy showed you some of the mocks, which has cars on the right side, cars in the middle column. I'm just going to go a little deeper into what kind of locations are we allowing. There are two parts to customization through extensibility. One, we give you tools to build these extensions that we have been showing so far. And the second one is we open up locations inside HubSpot where you can put this extension or place this extension. And we are starting with CRM records. So you have a middle column tab that we've mostly been showing examples of that so far, where on the middle column tabs you can put your extensions. You can also put it on the right sidebar of the rec pages, and Amy showed in some of the mocks how they could be looking. The third one is preview sidebar, which is a very powerful extension, a location where you can put it on a preview sidebar, which is one way you can get your extensions outside of record pages, because preview sidebar can be opened from different pages like contact index pages or segments list pages and other pages. So that's one way to get the extensions outside of record pages, but right now they are still limited to CRM records. But at the same time, they are not just limited to contacts, companies, deals, tickets, but also available on customer objects as well. So in this meeting, I also want to know what are the other pages in the HubSpot where you are seeing your users are moving in and out of HubSpot a lot, where they can stay inside HubSpot and bring all those data from other places inside and work better. So where should we open up more? What location should we open up more where you want to put your custom extension? You want to change HubSpot's UI and get your work done. So we'll talk about that during Q&A as well. And lastly, this is the last bit about how these extensions are built. I'm not going to be going super deep into this. We had one webinar where Dennis took us through the step-by-step flow of how to build it. But this is mostly about what it takes to build extensions. So we launched CRM development tools that allow you to build UI extensions which are full stack. Full stack means there's a front end and the back end, both completely hosted inside HubSpot for private applications. The mainstream technology stack which we have chosen is front end for React for front end and serverless function, which is basically JavaScript functions for the back end. And they are all available inside HubSpot. Even also for the local development, these extensions, just like any mainstream method of development, you have the developers to have the local development capabilities. That what means that if you are building something, if you're typing something, your code locally, you can instantly see the changes without actually having to deploy that to HubSpot account. And all of the complete extension, full stack extensions, is available for local development. And this along with the tools that we provide with CLI, GitHub integration, and everything, provides complete life cycle of building an extension from creating, building to testing and deploying and monitoring. And that is what CRM development toolset looks like. So for beginners, I would say you're not learning to be a HubSpot developers, but we want you to be gaining skills that will help you to build your career for the future as a developer, not just HubSpot developers. So that's why the technology stack we have chosen, and any choices we make in terms of even APIs are considering familiarity of development practices elsewhere. And now, after hearing everything today, you may be like, how do I find developers building these extensions? So we also have solutions directory where you can find the right solution partners. If you don't have access to in-house developers, you can hire them to customize your account. And the solutions directory contains ways to find partners as well. So that's about what I had today. And now I want to switch to hearing from everybody on what's your top of mind? What are you thinking in terms of your use cases? And for custom card, what locations inside HubSpot where you think, oh, I wish I could have put UI extensions or custom card there, but you don't allow, and we should be thinking about. So yeah, and any other questions I didn't answer.
Great. So yeah, we have a lot of questions in the Q&A. Thanks so much, both of you, for all you've shared so far. But if everyone wants to move over to the Q&A tab, we will sort them by popularity. So take a look through there, all you attendees. Upvote the questions you most want to hear the answers to. Feel free to add more questions there if you don't see one that captures the question you have. And we'll give it like 10 seconds and then I'll sort by popularity and we'll work top to bottom. Most voted with 12 upvotes. Can we expect a marketplace area for custom cards?
Yes, marketplace areas. It's very much in the plans and we would be working towards it, but no dates or commitments at this point. But yes, we are considering and we are thinking about that.
Amazing. That's exciting. I just sorted again. We have with 14 votes now. Mark asks, hey folks, any plans to create a library gallery of potential UI templates? So it sounds like that's maybe the same thing.
Yeah, and Amy and I were in the morning talking about just literally the same thing. Yes, we have the code samples available for the GitHub repository, and I'll see if I can find quickly the link to it. But other than that, we are thinking of sample galleries. Right now, there's a documentation page that provides a sample projects, all of the sample projects, and that's available in docs pages. But you need to be a developer to be able to use those samples. I recognize that. But at the same time, there are about like 8 to 9 samples, code samples available. And the very first, the meal ordering one that I showed is from one of those samples.
Amazing. Are there any plans to go forward with a file attachment component that would be usable in UI extension cards?
It's unbelievable to see this file attachment component coming up as one of the top voted. I would say yes. I am personally very much aware of all of the use cases for file attachment, and that's something we have discussed. There are real limitations in terms of file attachment components, in terms of what is the size of the file, what is the network latency, that we are not able to right now solve it with the right 100% confident of the performance. But at the same time, there are workarounds, as in like you could use the data component that has a file property type, and you can attach files to HubSpot accounts using that file property type, and that works. That is available as a solid option. But at the same time, if you want a generic file attachment component, that's something it'll take a little more time for us to figure out the right technical solution that allows the good performance as well.
Great. What is the benefit of showing properties on cards instead of the left sidebars we did before? Just curious, what are the best practices, or if this ever came up in user interviews?
Yes. Properties on the left sidebar, I think one of the feedback that we often got was in the early stages when we were looking for what kind of custom cards customers would want to build. Some of them were all about, I just want to visualize all the properties that are in the left sidebar, and I don't want to scroll through it. I just want like 5 properties standing out in my face, and I just want to build a card for that. And we decided, some of the other teams decided to solve that really out of the box by giving a no-code solution that you can pick a property that you want to show and other HubSpot data. So all of those visualizations are now available, including property list, just so that you can, not all companies have same use cases. If you care about certain properties a lot more than any other ones, you can show them on top. It's all about your preference in that case in terms of customization.
That makes a lot of sense. And at risk of bringing my computer to its death, I'm going to open a second tab here and show everyone real quick just what those basic standard cards look like, because there were some questions around that.
I posted a link to the sample project in the chat.
Oh, great. But yeah, there are a lot available that don't require any coding at all. So if you just want something basic like a list of properties or a report, oh boy.
I can demo it right now.
Ambitious. I have closed every application except for Chrome. I have 2 tabs open, and it's more than my MacBook Pro can handle. So maybe someone else should. But there's a huge library, and it's always growing. We just added a property totals card. We just did a new, it's in beta, I think, the ability to customize the full record page all at once. And so before you hop straight to coding anything or hiring a developer, I would definitely recommend you go to this record customization page. And if you look at your view here, so this is just the contacts page, but all CRM records look essentially the same with this 3-column layout. If we want to add cards to this middle part, there's this huge library. I don't know how well, maybe I should zoom in. All sorts of different cards here. And if you want to create a card for yourself, you can show association tables, association lists, data highlights, which is a collection of properties, a property list, a report card, any single object report can go here, stage tracker, if you want to show like lifecycle stages or deal stages, and activity totals. So if you want to do like number of phone calls or number of emails and things. And these are pretty customizable. This new one for activity totals, you just choose the direction, inbound, outbound, and it gives it to you. There are the numbers, you can drill into them.
Yeah.
So just exploring that library, I think, is worthwhile. And hopefully that'll give you some ideas. And if you want something more advanced, like some of the industry-specific examples Amy was showing you, then basically sky's the limit for what you can build.
Yeah, I'll plus one to that. Record page editor is a powerful tool. If your data is inside HubSpot, there is all the ways it gives you to visualize your data the way you want it. For like 80% of the most common use cases, and you build custom cards for the rest of the 20% use cases.
Yep.
Which, we don't solve out of the box.
Sure. Great. Aaron asks, are there plans to bring this to pro licenses of sales service? We have marketing enterprise, but that won't allow us to use these cards.
No plans as of now, but pricing and packaging changes HubSpot does do often, at times, and we would keep you posted if we are changing those plans. But at this point, no plans. It is on Sales and Service Hub Enterprises.
Got it. Are there any courses, lessons to learn how to build this in our demo portals?
Yes. Dev Relations team runs boot camps regularly, and also YouTube videos available that they make it available for anytime. Academy teams keeps posting those videos as well. So there is a learning path available for the boot camp. I'm not sure if Dennis is available to put that information, but I'll find out.
Yeah. Great. All right. Do these cards work on mobile?
Not yet. No. But keep talking about mobile.
The mobile app has been evolving really quickly lately. A lot of new things has been added there. So I would not say it's impossible. But yeah, not today. Do you have a resource you recommend for learning React?
I posted a CRM customization beta page. DevRel team came up with a blog post for resources for learning React, and that's available on this page. That's linked on this page as how to, if you're new to React, how you would learn React. So that one page is like a gold mine of all information. For example, this is a blog post for React development. CMS team also, CMS products also use React, and CRM products also use React. So this one post talks about all of the React development inside HubSpot.
Great. Will the data captured within custom cards be integrated and usable with report functionality within HubSpot?
Not yet. There are single object report available. So just like I showed the record page editor, you can add single object view reports right now. And I'm sure there's more and more plans to add different types of report there, where you can just, pick and choose reports that form your library and show it on the record pages.
Yeah. And if you build a custom card that people insert information into,
yes,
in order for that data to be available in a report, you would have to sync it into a HubSpot property somewhere, right?
Yes. We are thinking of charts component, though. Our component library is getting richer and richer. So charts is one thing that's coming up often in terms of different visualization. So we are thinking about and considering building our charts, and product updates page is the best place to keep posted on when and where it's coming. Yeah.
Cool. Could the table information in the CRM card be exported to Excel or PDF?
That's very interesting. Not out of the box. I would love to know the use cases for that, but not out of the box. You can definitely build the functionality with custom development. You can do the export functionality, but it won't do it out of the box for you.
Are cards with extensions available as no-code development?
No, but I would think the CRM dev and the page editor tools and custom card templates you have, that provides like a lot of no-code functionality where if your data is inside HubSpot anywhere, you don't need to code to show different visualization of it or even take actions. The custom cards part is code first.
Makes sense. I want to be a better admin. What coding platform should one focus on to help make this happen if you want to take the developer role in-house?
Janice, do you have the right answer to these questions, like recommended one? Or
He says learn JavaScript Node.
yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. And I remember, I think Devel even posted on what are the right skill set for the HubSpot development. And that blog post provides, like, if you want to hire a developer, what would you look for? So I can find out that blog post as well. But JavaScript and Node is what I would go for. And then React beginners.
Also, similar to this lovely admin hug, there is a lovely developer hug. So if you want to connect with a community and learn from people, that would be a great place to go. Where do we create them? Does it require a programmer?
Yes, it does require a programmer with a knowledge of JavaScript, and React is a JavaScript framework. So it's JavaScript first development in that sense.
Is this coming to dashboards? I saw a lot of chatter about dashboards in the chat.
Yeah, I think dashboard is one place where we allow putting you iframes for things like Google Slide and everything, and a lot of iframes end up coming into dashboards. I was also hoping that a lot of questions would be about dashboards. So thanks for confirmation. We are thinking about dashboard. You talking about it right now just gives us more fuel to think more about it. But yeah, dashboard is one point where one location area that I'm actively considering. You can feel free to reach out to me for what kind of use cases you have for dashboard. I would love to know what problems you're trying to solve if you had extensions on dashboard, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm curious in the chat if you all want to share the most creative or craziest things you've ever put on a dashboard, because the dashboards are fairly flexible with your ability to embed things on them, but there are weird limitations you randomly bump into every now and then. So
yes,
I don't know if you built a custom card and hosted it on a web page, if you could then embed that web page on a dashboard or not. I don't know how far you could get.
Yeah, I would love to know that too. Craziest thing you put on dashboard.
Yeah. Or tried to and it didn't work.
Chad says iframes get blocked depending on the service, but allowing some sort of custom card or widget would allow someone to properly handle the authentication flow, most likely.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's
yeah. And one thing I didn't cover about custom card is, some of the advanced use cases would require you to talk to the parent pages. For example, if you are updating something in the contact page, today, if you're going to build a classic card, you have to refresh the page to see that property refresh put in place. Custom cards give you the library of methods that allow you to interact with parent page and also render data contextually. So it knows what user is logged in, what portal they have, and what environment they have or time zone, and render data contextually based on users, teams, those permissions and everything. So they are more contextual, and those are more advanced use cases that you can solve with custom cards as well, without actually iframes wouldn't allow you to solve that way. Yeah.
Can custom cards be visible or not visible based on a property? If this company field is X, then show the custom card, otherwise do not display it.
Yes, you can make the data inside custom cards visible based on the property. The entire custom card being visible or not based on property is not yet possible, but you would see there's a conditional property rendering beta available for non-custom cards, like out-of-the-box cards that you would build. And we might be taking that forward for custom card as well. So not baking that inside the code for development, but giving admins more control on visibility of the custom cards is what we would go with.
Cool.
In the page editor.
Yeah. On CRM cards, when will it be possible to rearrange records to meet certain criteria? E.g., on the contacts card on company, put the most important contacts at the top, or put the more important attachments at the top of the card.
Amy, you're nodding your head.
I
was going to ask, repeat the questions, but I think you're already nodding your head. So go ahead.
Yeah, I think it depends on how you're defining most important, right? And how custom that is to your processes. But I know this use case has come up a ton with association tables. So wanting to add, let's say, a deal association table to a contact record, but float to the top of that, or auto filter out, I should say, any deals that have closed more than a year ago or something like that, so that the most relevant associations are showing up. That's possible, Sejal, I see you nodding your head. I don't want to speak out of turn. So there are some elements where you can sort of like auto filter association tables. Beyond that, I don't know, and this is probably where I'll pass it back to you, Sejal. I don't know that there's a way to sort of build in like hyper custom logic as to what is, quote, important or not to float an attachment up or an association up.
No, but that's why I think knowing what this person is trying to solve would be helping us to understand and come up with the right solution as well. So I put my email and a meeting link to the risk of doing that. Like, feel free to email me your use cases. And if you want, my meeting link is there. And if you find time to schedule that, do that too. I'm happy to talk about use cases because more and more business use cases help us understand what is the right problem you're trying to solve and come up with the right set of solutions for that. So knowing your problems is the best way for me as a product manager.
That's great. John asks in all caps, custom objects and cards?
You can do it, all caps.
Hooray!
You can put custom cards and custom objects as well. In any of the locations that are available for the deals, ticket, contacts, companies objects. Any other objects you would want to put it though? Outside of deals, tickets, contact companies is not possible right now, but tell me about it if you have ideas.
Your good friend Lou says file upload field. We talked about that a little bit already, but
yes. Lou, I'll repeat the solution again. You can use the CRM data component, and there's a property list component available for CRM data component, and you can create a file property type as a file property and use that property list component. So those files will be stored inside your CRM file property. For now, we don't have right now a generic component, something I'm completely 200% aware of the need, but right now we're trying to solve it in a more performant way. So right now it's not available. This is a solid workaround where you can solve it by storing files inside HubSpot using file property.
File property is way stronger now than it used to be. You can do all kinds of stuff with it.
Yeah.
Shell says, any plans to include ability for individual users to adjust columns viewed in the central custom card indexes? Would be nice if they could make their own changes there instead of going to the separate view associated contacts linked in the right side column. Or any plans to give ability to include the view associated contacts link on a custom card under an index table? That was a long question. Did you follow it okay?
Not the last part, but I think I'll have to go back to the question to answer. Can I answer this offline while you are taking another question?
Sure. Yeah. I'll just continue on down.
When was it?
It's from Shell Morse at 11:13 a.m. in the Q&A.
Okay.
Antoine asked, do you need license for the user also in the tool use as a source in the CRM card?
No, you need Sales and Service Hub Enterprise tiers to use the cards.
Byron says, I want a Canvas component.
Tell me, the HTML canvas. It has come up a while. I don't have the right answer on yes or no to it, but I get where you're coming from, Byron, on more flexibility. I think something that I would, one of the feedback that we often get about custom styling or anything, I would like to know what exactly you're trying to do and what you're missing in the component set and bake that into a component and expand the library more. Canvas is one way to go, and we would have to discuss that internally. But right now, give me your use cases and, tell me what you're trying to do, and we can expand the library of components and make it more richer and richer for you.
Okay. We have a handful of other questions that all have kind of one or two upvotes. Mostly, I don't know, some industry specific stuff. One piece of advice from Bob that ended up here in the Q&A is instead of I'll read it. I just repeating what I said before. I'd not specifically dive into learning JavaScript from scratch, but instead learn how to think in its concepts so you can brief AI to write it for you. So that's an interesting approach, especially for an admin person. If you can just understand what sorts of things can be done and the sort of logic required to do them, especially for a simpler card, I think that's a fine way to get started.
Yes.
Okay, well, I think we can wrap it there. Thanks so much for being here. Any last thoughts from either of you before we shut it down?
No, it was a lot of fun to do this. Thanks, Kyle, for organizing, and thank you all for asking all the questions. Um, I will make it a point to join Spocket here. I didn't know about this, so I'm gonna do that. But feel free to post your questions on community or reach out to me or anybody in HubSpot with more use cases. Thanks.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Amy, any last parting words?
No, I just want to second that. We hear everything you guys are saying, and I think more than any other feature that HubSpot put out, your ideas are really valuable because the entire idea is to reflect them back in the tool. So keep the feedback coming.
Amazing. Thank you both so much. Thank you everyone for being here. This has been recorded and we will share the recording out with you afterward. And yeah, hope you all have a great Tuesday, great rest of your week, and hope to see you all back next week.